What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy LM Still Fit, back at y'all with another video. So today we're going to be taking a look and reviewing the Major Fitness Drone2 all-in-one Smith machine functional trainer. Yeah, that's a mouthful. But I purchased this Smith machine about 2 months ago, and I think I've had enough time with it now to give you guys an honest review and see what it's all about. And hopefully this video provides some insight and good information for you to make a decision if you're in the market for one. So let's get into it. Taking a look from the front of the Smith machine, as you can see, from floor to pull-up bar in all of its glory, pretty nice. Pretty nice. So the first thing I want to go over are some of the specifications for the Smith machine. So it is on the relatively large side. So make sure if you do consider purchasing one of these, it's not the size of just your normal squat rack. So height, it stands at 84.4 inches tall, which isn't the tallest, but I think you can get them a little bit shorter too. Not this one in particular, but some other ones. The height was important to me because I needed to make sure that my garage door would clear it and it would fit under the rails just like my old one did. As you can see, my garage door rails are probably about 8 inches above the top of the Smith machine. So that was key for me. The other thing I want to talk about is the width. So the width of the Smith machine is, I think it's about 85.2, I think is what the spec sheet said. But that's going from tip to tip on the Smith machine bar itself. So it's wider than, the specs will say it's wider than the actual machine is because it's including the width of the Smith bar attached to the machine. So the depth of the Smith machine is roughly 67.6 inches, and that's going from the front of the feet all the way back to the plate holder, where the plate holder ends in the back. So that's pretty much the size of it. Now, coming to the middle of the Smith machine where you would normally slide your bench in, from foot to foot or side to side, it's about 43.1 inches. And then from front to back, it is 55.3 inches. And that's the space that you'll get to work within the Smith machine with your bench, or if you're doing some other type of Smith machine exercise. All right, so with the specs out of the way, let's get into it. So let's go from top to bottom. So up top, we've got our pull-up bar. It's a multi-grip pull-up bar. I like to use the wide angle grip right where the handlebar attachments are. And then you've also got some multi-grip areas for different types of grips up top here. So you can do supinated, you can do, palms facing inward, at 2 different levels there and get your pull-ups in. And then moving on around and down, as you can see here, we've got our cable set up for the functional trainer. And these, you just pull the pin out and this whole assembly will slide up and down depending on what exercise you're doing so that you can adjust. Cable system is relatively smooth. And moving on down, you've got your 2 by 2 inch steel tubing with 1-inch holes. J-cups. These came in the packaging. Also came with a set of dip bar attachments. So the only reason I have these on right now is so that it's for the purpose of the review, so that you can see what it looks like when they're attached. So there are your J-cups, and there are your dip bar attachments. And then down here, as you can see, you have your safety spotter arms. And these can all be taken off and stored away if you're not using them. And of course they would have to if you're sliding the cable assembly up and down the tubing. All right, so moving on down to the bottom, on the left side, there's a landmine attachment. So you can do your landmine exercises. So basically you just take your Olympic bar and you insert it into the hole, tighten it down so that it doesn't slide out. And then you can do your landmine exercises, be it rolls or any type of exercise you could think of that you can do with a landmine. You can pretty much do it with this because basically that's what it's for. You also have some resistance band peg attachments down here so that you could add some resistance, some extra resistance to your pushing movements, or if you want to use some bands with this in conjunction with the Smith machine or in conjunction with your bench press. If you're doing bench press or squatting outside of the Smith machine, you can attach bands for that extra resistance as well. So really good there. And then moving over to the right side, bottom, we have this bar here for foot placement in case you're doing things like seated rows or anything that you would need to put your feet up against when you're doing any type of pulling movements. Okay. And speaking of pulling movements, look over here, I've got all of my attachments for my lat pull downs, seated rows, tricep extensions, bicep curls with the cables. I've also got another attachment down here for lat pull downs and Nordic curls. Basically, that goes on the front of the rack as an attachment to put my knees under so that when I'm sitting on a bench and I'm doing lat pull downs, I don't pull myself up. So that's pretty awesome. Sitting here in the middle is the Major Fitness bench. This bench came as a part of the package along with the Smith machine functional trainer itself. It is adjustable. You can make it flat on the front as well as the long pad on the back. And you can adjust it all the way up to 45 degrees. It does not decline. So that's one of the disadvantages to this bench. But it's heavy duty, real sturdy. Haven't had any issues with it. The only thing I wish is that the pad was a little bit wider for things like bench press, but for what it is, I can't complain. All right, starting to rain outside. I don't know if y'all can hear that through my microphone or not. And moving around to this side so we can get a better view. See the cable system here. And as it goes up and comes back down, and then back here is where you would load your plates for any of your cable movements. I think these things have like a 400-pound capacity. Overall, the total capacity of the squat rack is rated at 2,000 pounds. I don't have to ever worry about testing that or using that much weight, so I think I'm fine. But anyway, this is where you would load your plates at to adjust your weight for the pulley system. And these both work separate on each side. And by the way, this pulley system is a 1-to-1 ratio. And what that means is basically the amount of weight you put on is exactly what you're getting. I think a 2-to-1, if you have 100 pounds on, I think it feels like 50. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that's how that works. All right. The other thing I want to let you guys know is Major Fitness also makes a Drone2 Advanced Smith machine, basically the same Smith machine. The only difference is the pulleys on the cable system. All of your pulleys are metal, and I don't know if they're titanium or some other type of metal, but they're supposedly a lightweight metal, and I'm sure those are more durable and will probably last a lot longer, but it also costs more. And then one of the other main differences between this Drone2 Smith machine and the Drone2 Advanced by Major Fitness is the plate loading system that we have here is replaced by a plate stack with a pin system, so that you just have to pull out the pin and put it in wherever you want to adjust your weight. So a lot more convenience and a lot easier to adjust your weight between your exercises. I think those are the only two main differences. Back here, we've got 4 pins for storing weight. As you can see, I've got some 15-pound bumper plates, 10s on either side, and some 25s stored on those. Pretty good. I wish that I could put these on the side and have the weight stored on the side of the squat rack as opposed to in the rear. That way I use less floor space, or the footprint for the rack would be a bit smaller. And there are holes here on the side of the rack that you could put those in, but the problem with that would be when you're doing cable movements and the weight is moving up and down on the guide rods with the weight stack mounted on the side, it would interfere with the weight going up and down. So that would be a no-go. Moving around to the back of the Smith machine, as you can see, the Major Fitness banner. That is not metal. It is a type of cloth material. It's just pulled snug. When I first saw it online, I thought it was actually a metal plate or something, or part of the framework, but it's not. But it still looks pretty decent. And then also you have these little hooks on the bar going across for storing your attachments. I didn't put anything there. I initially had some stuff stored on there, but I took it off because it was interfering with my view in the mirror as I was doing certain exercises, which is why everything's over here. Okay. So all in all, pretty good system. Haven't had any issues with it. It's been working great in the 2 months that I've had it, and I really can't complain. Let's talk about the assembly of this thing. So I got this thing in, and it came in 3 huge boxes, and that's excluding the bench and the bumper plates. Oh, by the way, I did get a set of, in the package, along with the bench and the Smith machine, 230-pound bumper plate set from Major Fitness. So I've got these 2 blue 45s, 2 yellow 35s, 2 green 25s, and the 2 gray 10s, equating to the 230-pound set that I got, included in the package. Now, the assembly. So this thing came in 3 huge boxes, packaged very well. Each box came with a set of, with a sheet with what was packaged in the box, so it would make it easier to inventory what you got. The instructions were very easy to follow. It took me probably working off it on about 5 hours to put this thing together, and I did it by myself. The only thing I needed help with is my wife came out and she held the pull-up bar for me on one side until I got a bolt in on each side so that it would stay up, and then I finished it up from there. Everything else, I pretty much followed the instructions and did it on my own. The only other thing I had to adjust was initially this cable right here I had down on this bottom hole. I don't know if you can see that, but it was causing a little bit too much slack in the line, so I moved it up to the top on either side, and that resolved that issue, and it's been working great. Cable system is very smooth. Cost. So as I stated, I got the bench, the Smith machine functional trainer itself, as well as the bumper plates. When I ordered it in a package, I think I paid $1,652. Let's just round it up to $1,700 at the time. This was probably about 2 months ago. As of today, I think April 25th, this Smith machine is being sold on Amazon, just the Smith machine, without the bench and the bumper plates, for $899. So I think that's a pretty good deal for what you're getting still. So if you're in the market for a squat rack with a Smith machine for your home gym, I think this would be one to look at. Comparisons, I know there are better options out there. Those better options are probably going to cost you more. And there are some not so great options out there. But I think for what you're paying and what you're getting in this package, you're getting bang for your buck. And I think you'll be happy with it. I looked at RitFit. I looked at Rep Fitness. Didn't even bother. I look at Rogue all the time, but for the price point and for what I use it for, I don't think I'm able to justify purchasing Rogue rack with a functional trainer on it, for that matter. Knowing those costs would be way more than I'm willing to spend right now. I'm not saying that someday in the future I may invest in some higher quality equipment, but as of right now, for what me and my wife do and bringing a potential client in from time to time, I don't think I need to go there. This is more than enough for what I need and what I do in conjunction with the rest of the stuff in my home gym. So that being the case, if you'd like to purchase this Major Fitness Drone2 Smith machine. This one in particular, I'll leave a link in the description for the purchase on Amazon. As I stated, this is an Amazon exclusive. If you go to Major Fitness's website, you won't find this particular model. I think they have the B-52 and the F-22. They named their equipment after fighter jets, I guess, or planes. You will find those two on their website, but you won't find the drone series on their website. You'd have to go to Amazon to find this particular Smith machine. But all in all, as I stated, great piece of equipment, great purchase. Haven't had any issues with it. I've been doing a multitude of exercises with it. Anything you can do with the cables, I've probably done already. Smith machine exercises, my wife does leg presses with the Smith machine with weight loaded. No issues there. Everything adjusts fine, cable system smooth, really good. So I'm happy with the purchase, and I think you would be too. So look into it. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'll be doing a updated full garage gym review soon to show you some of the changes I've made and some of the equipment, the new equipment that I purchased. And stay tuned. Peace. I'm out.